Welcome everybody to the Monday Night Raw. Today's discussion, we're going to be talking about how to correct your blood pressure, and I'm going to go a bit more in depth about blood pressure because blood pressure is actually a pretty complicated topic because there's a lot of different variables and things that influence blood pressure. So I want to touch on as much of that as I possibly can tonight. So definitely, folks, put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly. All right. And while I am talking about all of this stuff, I'm going to be prepping some red lentil bullion. All right. So that's what I'm going to be prepping tonight. All right, Annie in the building. What's going on? Good to see you in here. Mama Do. Definitely, folks, sound off. Let me know who's tuning in, where you're tuning in from. Let's see some more of them ones in the chat. Sound off, y'all. Where y'all tuning in from? City, state, country, all of that. And if you've had a call with me, right? Because, you've gotten some of y'all have book calls with me, so we have some pretty in-depth good discussions, right? For those of you in the 12-week mentorship, you know what I'm saying? Definitely sound off. That's what I'm talking about. Big shout out to Maryland. Yeah, Kara, what's going on? Good to see you in here tuning in from Alabama. What's going on? All right, just rinsing the lentils a little bit. So I'm gonna put these on a low heat. Let them stew. So this is a 32-ounce mason jar. All right, and I put 1 cup of dried red lentils in here to soak. So they've expanded quite a bit. Let me give it another rinse. 1 more rinse. I got some announcements to make. By the end of the week, I will have the final version of the Tribe by Noire app up for Tribe by Noire members. So basically, this will put everything, all things Tribe by Noire, all the courses, your personal coaching plan, all of that type of stuff, scheduling and booking coaching calls, all of it will be directly through the app. Push notifications, direct messaging, all of that type of stuff will be directly through the app. The live streams, the replays, all that, directly through the app. All right? And you'll also be able to become a tribe member and join the 12-week mentorship through the app as well. All right? So pretty excited about that. If you need help, you need to get on a call with me. You've been struggling with high blood pressure, diabetes, gut health issues, weight loss, weight gain, bacterial infection, what else we got? Autoimmune disease, food allergies. Been dealing with any of these issues. I've been having a lot of success over the years with these things. And got a pretty good success rate as far as the topic today about high blood pressure and correcting high blood pressure. If I'm being modest, I want to say I've got a 99% success rate as far as getting people to their ideal blood pressure. The reason why I probably wouldn't say 100% is because the ones who have seen progress, everyone has seen progress with lowering their blood pressure. However, some people, they didn't stay on plan long enough to really make the full correction. So being modest and trying to be as accurate as I can, I'm putting it at 99%. But pretty much, if you do what I tell you to do, you follow the plan, and you can correct your blood pressure and get off of your blood pressure medication. All right? And I'm willing to guarantee that. Okay? And I'm gonna get into the reasons why that is. All right? So if you want to book a call with me, link is in the description of this video. Okay, so below it'll say book a call with me. There's a link for that. Join the 12-week mentorship. There's also a link for that. And my tribe shop. So if you want to know what red lentils I get, what hemp seeds I get, what supplements, I recommend training equipment, whether it be resistance bands, resistance band accessories, my pull-up bar, etc. That's in the tribe shop as well. The 12-week mentorship, it is a 12-week mentorship. And there's 3 levels. Tier 1, you get access to all of the current courses as well as future courses that are coming. You also get weekly coaching calls in the 12-week mentorship that I'm running. All right, so these are weekly one-on-one calls. Weekly live streams, member-exclusive live streams, similar to this one. And then the replays to all of the live streams that I do throughout the week, including the ones that I do here and the ones that I do exclusively for tribe members. Tier 2, you get access to all the courses, the nutrition, fasting, training courses, replays, but you also get a personalized diet plan, right? So if you need me to make your personal diet plan for you, I do that as well. And you get weekly calls and everything else. And then tier 3, it's personal diet plan and training plan. So you get your own personal coaching plan and the weekly calls where we can also record the weekly calls, and then I post the replays for those weekly calls in your personal coaching plan so you can watch them back. Right, so I do that as well. All right. So haven't gotten the announcements out the way, on with the show. All right. Folks like the stream. Definitely, y'all know how I get down. I deliver a lot of value in these streams. All right. All right. So I'm gonna be making some red lentil bouillon. It's one of my favorites. Miss D put me onto this. Big shout out to D after 50. All right, I'm gonna try to keep it tight tonight, so I don't wanna hold y'all up too late. I gotta make tea, so I'm gonna put the kettle on. I'm gonna have some basil tea with this meal. And my lentils here. So people ask me, how much water do you use to boil the lentils? So if this is a 32-ounce jar, I basically soak the lentils, and when they're fully soaked, the water comes up to the what line is this? The 24-ounce line, if I'm doing 1 cup. So this is essentially what it looks like. So it's about like a half an inch over the lentils there. All right. I'm actually gonna add a little bit more water as well. Cook this on a low heat. And then while this is cooking on a low heat, talk a little bit about blood pressure. That's right, I like to get every one of these little lentils in here. I like red lentils, they cook pretty quick. They have a bit of a mild flavor. They're not too bitter. All right, so I'm a big fan of these. Red lentils is my jam. All right, so got the kettle going. And I just cooked the lentils on a low heat, just enough just enough to soften them up. All right, so I soften them up, and then I season them. I'm mixing all the seasonings, and I'm gonna show you all the seasonings that I'm gonna use as well. And let me get my basil tea ready. And as far as talking about blood pressure, we're gonna start with this basil. All right, so I buy basil in bulk. This is also in the tribe shop, all right? And this is a tea steeper, so I do basil tea. It's a great idea to do basil tea before meals that are a bit more on the heavier side. And so for this here, I'm gonna put 2 teaspoons of basil in the steeper. All right. And then I'm gonna fill the mug with about 8 ounces of water. Real simple, right? After the water finishes boiling. And you can see I've been using a lot of this basil here. I've been putting the basil in my food, I've been putting it in my teas, and putting it in. I've been using it, I've been working it. So, basil tea helps to improve blood pressure, blood sugar. It's antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. Okay? And basil is a stress reducer. It is really good for improving cardiovascular tissues in general, right? So just implementing, let's say you just drink a cup of basil tea. For most people with high blood pressure, that basil tea would actually help to bring your blood pressure down, right? So it would help to oxygenate your blood, improves the clearance of waste, intracellular waste. It helps to clear that from out of your cells, out of your blood, and through your kidneys. Okay? It also helps you to get rid of excess fluid. So basil kind of acts a little bit like a diuretic and flushes excess lymph fluid and interstitial fluid out of your body while retaining your electrolytes. All right? So the reason why this is important is because high blood pressure is an inflammatory response. It's not really a disease in and of itself. It's an indication that something's wrong. I talk to a lot of people and they say to me, my doctor tells me I'm going to be on blood pressure medication for the rest of my life. The reason why they say that is because, well, blood pressure medication can't fix your blood pressure, at least not long term, right? Blood pressure medication can manipulate your body into forcing your blood pressure down, right? But it can't correct the underlying conditions that cause you to have high blood pressure. So you may have been taking blood pressure medication and you don't really like the way that the blood pressure medication makes you feel. Maybe it makes you feel lethargic, gives you a headache, you get like a dizzy, woozy kind of feeling. You don't like the unsettling the way that it makes you feel. A lot of the times the reason for this is because it drops your blood pressure too low, right? So basically you have some medications, they act as a diuretic also. So you lose a lot of water, you lose a lot of electrolytes. So it can drop your blood sugar and drop your blood pressure, but too low. And it leaves you feeling fatigued and all that type of stuff, right? And it drains your electrolytes, right? If you eat something with a significant glycemic impact, it shoots your blood pressure right up along with your blood sugar, right? Because it takes you, well, first of all, you've created this kind of dehydrated state, especially if it's a medication that produces like more of a diuretic effect, right? And so you may have experienced something like this, for example, with taking like an amlodipine or something like that, right? I'm not really going to go too heavy into different medications because I'm not a doctor. Medication is not my wheelhouse. My whole thing is reversing chronic illnesses without the need for medication, right? So I'm not in the business of medications, right? Just using that as an example, right? So yeah, my whole thing is nutrition and natural means to lower blood pressure. You can have high blood pressure. People say, oh, well, you have high blood pressure because high stress. Sure, yeah. What kind of stress? Physical stress, emotional stress, hormonal stress, metabolic stress. What kind of stress are we talking about? Right? You can have high blood pressure because you're very insulin resistant, so your blood sugar is real high, right? So when your blood sugar is real high and your blood is saturated with excess glucose, this thickens your blood, right? And it can perpetuate a dehydrated state. Now, this is usually the case with the high blood sugar and the thick blood. That indicates like low potassium, right? If you eat more potassium-rich foods, essentially what happens is this actually loosens your blood, right? So it takes your blood from being out of that thickened state. And potassium increases your body's ability to use glucose for energy. So increasing the amount of potassium in your diet will actually help to bring your blood sugar down. And as your blood sugar comes down, your blood pressure comes down, right? So a lot of people who are diabetic, for example, have high blood pressure because their blood sugar is really chronically elevated. It creates a lot of stress, right? So you get nastiness. You get blood sugar being excessively elevated, and that puts a strain on your metabolism, right? If your blood sugar is high, that means that the glucose that's inside your blood, or the sugar that's inside your blood, is not getting into your cells. The body's primary source of energy is sugar. Your body runs on sugar, period, right? Your body prioritizes sugar so much that it will convert fat into sugar to be able to use it into energy. And your body will even convert amino acids and break down protein and convert that into sugar to use for energy. This is how much your body prioritizes sugar, right? Cutting sugar intake because your blood sugar is high is that's not really going to do the trick. And the reason why is because you don't have high blood sugar because you eat too much sugar. That's not really a thing, right? It's other things that are preventing the sugar from going into your cells, thus causing you to have high blood sugar. It's not the overall total amount of sugar you're consuming, it's how effectively that sugar goes from your gut into your bloodstream, and then from your bloodstream into your cells. That's the thing to correct. Usually people have this issue of insulin resistance. A lot of the times it's dehydration and low electrolytes. Those are the top two things, right? So when we're talking about electrolytes, for example, we're talking about mainly potassium and magnesium, which are some of the biggest drivers, right? Potassium and magnesium deficiency will definitely cause you to be more insulin resistant and drive up your blood sugar number. You can take blood pressure medications, but the problem is the blood pressure medication doesn't really fix the insulin resistance, and it can actually make it worse, right? So you can look at the side effects of your medication. One of the side effects may be increased insulin resistance. You may want to go and do a Google search, type in the name of that medication, and then type in insulin resistance, the name of the medication, and then the search term insulin resistance. And you'll get like studies and things like that that will pop up. You'll be able to read about this, right? You can type in what blood pressure medications cause or increase insulin resistance. You can type that in as well. Now you can have the same medication that affects multiple different people in different ways. And the reason why is because people have high blood pressure and high blood sugar for different reasons. I'm just exploring one avenue, right? Just like the basics. So like when we talk about like, oh, how is it that you eat more fruit and fruit actually reverses insulin resistance and reverses type 2 diabetes? So I work with a plethora of diabetes. I've worked with people with diabetes for a very long time, mainly type 2 diabetes, but even type 1 diabetes. And when we increase fruit intake and when we have a more raw diet, that leads to better blood sugar numbers. So you may think, well, why is that? Because aren't you eating isn't fruit a lot of sugar? What's that about? Sure, but fruit is like 70 to 90% water, and it's an extremely rich source of electrolytes. So when you increase the water content of your food and you increase the electrolyte content of your food, those are those two ingredients that people are usually deficient in that's causing them to have high blood sugar and high blood pressure. This is a whole vibe right here, y'all. I like this little tea steeper thing. Little simple things in life, like this right here is like kind of therapeutic for me. Just making tea and then drinking tea. So you increase the amount of potassium that you consume, and potassium is needed in order for you to have adequate levels of blood plasma. Blood plasma essentially is just water, right? Not only does that potassium add more water or more blood plasma to your blood, but it also facilitates oxygen uptake and oxygen utilization by providing or conducting an electrical charge through your bloodstream. So your body like runs on electricity, right? High voltage of electricity creates thermogenesis. That thermogenesis then increases the sensitivity of all of the cells in your body and increases uptake, and that helps to improve insulin sensitivity and blood sugar numbers. So potassium creates, it's like a battery, right? It's like a mineral that acts as like an energy conductor, right? So essentially potassium is needed to create like high energy blood. So more potassium leads to arteries that can soften up. They become more elastic. You have a lack of potassium, you get vascular constriction, you get tightness, mass vascular tissues like this. They can lock up, right? If you come from a lifestyle where you're consuming, let's say, seafood, beef, eggs, dairy, all this type of stuff, right? You're getting a lot of protein, saturated fat, and calcium, right? Calcium, saturated fat, and protein, right? Or just protein breaks down into amino acids. You get excessive levels of methionine, cysteine, and you have these different amino acids that can bind to saturated fat or lipids and calcium, right? And this can create solid stone formation or plaque, right? So this is like a recipe for things like gallstones, kidney stones, atherosclerotic plaque. Right? And then of course, as those things combine, in order for those things to really combine and solidify, you also need dehydration. If you're adequately hydrated, you don't really get that stone formation. You don't really get the crystallization of the acid, right? Or this type of byproduct. So if you combine those things, an abundance of those materials with an environment of dehydration, this now gives you harder vascular tissues. They stiffen up, right? And then also that goes from stiffness, and then eventually there becomes cracks. So when your arteries stiffen, if they need to open up, if they're stiff, they don't really open up so well. So they're more prone to breaking or tears. So you can get little cracks inside your vascular tissue. Your body senses those cracks and then produces plaque to plug the cracks, right? So atherosclerosis or atherosclerotic plaque buildup inside the arteries, like your endothelium, that just keeps growing and growing and growing. And if your arteries maintain that stiffness, over time, you get more little cracks in your vascular tissue. So you need water, you need electrolytes, potassium and magnesium, two of the biggest ones, in order to have more flexible, elastic, softer vascular tissues that easily contract and dilate seamlessly, right? And more flexible vascular tissues are more durable and less prone to breaking. They're less prone to damage, right? The magnesium and the potassium with the hydration can break up the plaque, and it also creates the conditions to heal the damage to your vascular tissues, right? So when you have less of that plaque buildup, that plaque gradually breaks apart, it dissolves, your vascular tissues heal, and then your blood pressure improves, right? So that can happen also. So you can have high blood pressure as a result of literally atherosclerosis or atherosclerotic plaque buildup, narrowing the pathway. So there's that. It could be blood sugar. It also could just be plaque buildup, right? So most people have like an imbalanced diet. This is actually very common too amongst people with seafood. Like people who eat a lot of seafood are very prone to high blood pressure, right? So big shout out to my folks, right? Black people especially from New Orleans, right? The deep South, eating shellfish, crab, and all of this, right? That shellfish, that right there is the substrate for the formation of things like high blood pressure and gout and acid reflux, right? So heartburn, gout, arthritis, high blood pressure, all of these things. Because you get these insane levels of uric acid, insane levels of cholesterol, saturated fat, and protein in your diet. And your body responds to that by increasing homocysteine, right? That increases interstitial fluid, which is basically fluid that exists outside your cells, right? And as that interstitial fluid expands, it pinches your vascular tissues. So basically, as that space on the outside of your vascular tissues expand, that creates high blood pressure. So you may be experiencing edema, right? Swelling. You'll experience this in the feet, lower legs, maybe like your hands. There'll be stiffness, a tingling numbness or whatever, some type of radicular pain, right? And that can be from uric acid accumulation, acid crystallization, right? And excess homocysteine. And what happens is, and this is often the case too, where you'll get all of this interstitial fluid, lymphatic fluid, and that lymph system can't drain properly because there's too much stress on the kidneys, right? So you get this inflammation in the portal vein to the kidneys. So you get a narrowing, so your kidneys are not really as effective, right? So a lot of the times people have high blood pressure or high uric acid, and this leads to kidney damage and kidney disease. It could be a blood sugar thing, but not necessarily. It could just be a fatty liver thing. But high level of fat and protein and uric acid accumulation and ammonia and interstitial fluid buildup and all of that type of stuff leads to nerve damage, liver damage, kidney damage, high blood pressure, insulin resistance or just straight up type 2 diabetes, obesity, sleep apnea, all types of nastiness, right? Let me see if this is still a little too hot to drink, but that's fine. So you've got seafood, one of the biggest culprits, pork, okay? So for the folks, my folks who are throughout Central and South America, we're eating a lot of pork, okay? The more pork a population eats, those diabetes numbers skyrocket, okay? So diabetes is becoming more and more prevalent across Central and South America as the pork eating increases, even with red meat. If you look at like, let's say for example, Hong Kong or China, as China increased its red meat consumption and its just overall meat consumption, diabetes rates and obesity also increased to the point where they made it into like the top 3. I think like Hong Kong specifically made it into the top 3 of like diabetes, right? It's nuts. You can track a population where that population has mostly a plant-based diet. They have really good health statistics. And then the more like fast foodized or westernized their diet gets, that's when the diabetes and all that type of stuff really starts setting in, right? But blood pressure is like a first indicator. Right? Typically, it may not be, but a lot of the times it is, especially for us black folks, right? So that shellfish and the red meat and the pork and all of that, right? No. Dairy, no, right? A lot of you have a lactose allergy, a galactose allergy, a casein allergy. And the saturated fat in the diet, the more saturated fat you eat, it increases insulin resistance, because the more saturated fat that is prevalent inside your system, inside your gut and your blood and whatnot, this inhibits your body's ability to be receptive, or it inhibits your cells on a cellular level. It inhibits your cells' ability to interact with insulin, right? So insulin can be harboring glucose and shuttling it to the cell, and the cell's not responding to the insulin, right? And that's insulin resistance, and that's primarily driven by saturated fat intake, right? So I'm always talking about like a high carb, water-rich diet and all of this, and keeping your fats down, definitely your saturated fats down. That's why. Polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats are a bit different, right? Because polyunsaturated fats can actually help to improve insulin sensitivity, right? But of course, the food choice matters, right? So there's a big difference between eating eggs versus an avocado, right? One is going to be a much better form of fat than the other. Speaking of avocados, I got like these fresh new avocados. So these avocados are a lethal weapon, right? So if somebody's breaking into the house, ooh, right? You can kill somebody with these. These are dangerous. So those avocados are green and hard, but then when they get ripe, it's avocado time. Fellas, by the way, fellas, men, avocado is a really good food to eat. Especially if you're dealing with like testosterone issues, avocado, it's a big deal. So, we've covered the blood sugar issue, the uric acid issue. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about acid, right? Because people talk about like Dr. Sebi, they talk about like an alkaline diet, right? This type of thing. You'll hear people like Yaki, Awaken talk about this, right? An acidic diet or an acidic food versus an alkaline food and this type of thing. And there's a lot of confusion about that. So scientifically, acid is regarded as like a waste product. It is a result of energy expenditure or digestion or something like that. It's an end product, right? So for example, like acid is like you eat and then you bust a fart, right? A fart is like acid coming out in the form of a gas, right? It's a waste product. So your cells go through a metabolic process, they go through respiration, and our cells, they have organelles in the way we have organs, right? So we got a booty hole, and then cells have like a booty hole, right? Like a little anus, right? And cells, they poop in the same way we do, they poop. So your cells all over your body, boop, boop, poop, 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 boop, 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 right? So your cells are boo-booing. They're taking in nutrients, they're taking in glucose and oxygen and doing their whole processes, right? Doing what they do, just living, chilling, doing stuff, and then pooping, right? And those waste products have to be cleared out of the body through your kidneys, right? Or waste products have to be converted into something else, right? And you can smell acid. It doesn't smell very good, right? Bacteria, okay? Bacteria also poops a lot. And bacteria has some bad smelling poop. Especially bad bacteria, like harmful bacteria, right? Harmful bacteria has some nasty smelling boo-boo, right? It's like, for example, if you got really bad smelling breath, a lot of the times, because there's a lot of bad bacteria in your mouth. This makes your breath smell bad, right? Like think about like your dog or your cat. Their breath smells terrible because their mouth is really acidic. It's like nasty. As a human being, you ain't supposed to have bad breath like that. You're not a carnivore. So you don't have like this really acidic diet. When we talk about acid, when you eat protein, protein breaks down into amino acids. Those amino acids can't just sit in your bloodstream, just float around in your bloodstream and it's all gravy. You know, that's not good. It's very bad. So those amino acids have to be converted into something else, right? So amino acids make different hormones, they make different enzymes, they make different cells and this type of thing, right? So amino acids are building materials to other things that your body then uses, right? Hormones, enzymes, cells, etc., right? If you're eating a lot of protein, that can contribute to a bad smell, right? So you could be eating a lot of protein and be busting all kind of gas and farts, you get bad smelling breath and all this type of stuff. Not good, right? Some of you may know this if you have TMAO, right? So you got a TMAO issue. So you can have really bad body odor, like bad breath, right? So you really got to make sure that you're not consuming too much protein, and you really shouldn't be eating any animal products at all, because that stuff makes you smell terrible, right? Fat, same thing, right? But fat to a lesser degree, because depending on the fat source, would it be depends. So fats break down into fatty acids, right? And that has to be used for something else, right? So you can't just have fatty acids just floating around in your blood, just accumulating, right? It's terrible. This will cause you to have excessively elevated cholesterol. This can contribute to type 2 diabetes and things like that, etc. Right? So you'll see people who do like a keto diet or something like that, or they'll do carnivore and they demonize carbs. And the reason why is because when they throw carbs in, they've eaten themselves into insulin resistance. So they have this blood that's saturated with fat, right, and protein. They throw carbs on top of it and it just blows up on them. Because you can't have these high concentrations of glucose, fat, and protein floating around in your blood, right? That creates a traffic jam. You get a congested liver and kidneys and all of that from that. So they've eaten themselves into a state of insulin resistance, right? So that blows up on them because they have this really heavy insulin resistant, saturated, fatty diet. If you do a whole food plant-based diet, you don't really have that because your diet is going to be mostly carbohydrates and whatnot. It's not overloaded with acid-creating foods or acidic foods. So when people talk about a food that is acidic, typically what they're talking about is a food with a high concentration of fat, protein, and sulfur. Sulfur smells real bad, right? That's why, like, if you eat you eat broccoli, you bust some wild farts, right? Some people they eat broccoli and it's just like, bah, right? And it's like, ooh, it's real strong smell. You may bust a fart and you can feel the air is thicker, right? So broccoli has a lot of has a high sulfur concentration. Legumes also, right? So if you go nuts with the beans and eat all kind of beans, right? You can have some nasty wild gas. Now, if you've been like a plant-based for a really long time, you got good gut health, you can eat beans and not really have any gas or anything at all. But if you're new to a plant-based diet and you just really, really OD with the beans because you're like, oh, beans are a good source of protein, and you just start cramming beans, you can get some pretty vicious gas doing that, right? So you don't want to overdo it with that. You got to ease your way in, right? So in any case, the reason why I started off talking about alkaline versus acidic foods and then talk about the whole bacteria thing and the smells is because it's correlated, and we're talking about waste products. Acidic foods are foods that feed bad bacteria. Acidic foods are foods that are really high in protein and saturated fat and sulfur. Alkalizing foods are foods with low protein, but are water-rich, carbohydrate-rich, and are loaded with antioxidants and the 5 alkalizing macro minerals: calcium, potassium, magnesium, manganese, and iron, right? The most alkalizing foods in particular are very rich in potassium and magnesium, all right? Potassium and magnesium are really important for clearing waste out of your body, right? Also, foods that are very alkalizing are foods that are rich in vitamin C. All right? Vitamin C really helps to flush your lymphatic system and aid your kidneys in flushing waste products out. Vitamin C also helps to control blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity. Okay? So your fruits fit this bill. Dry foods, little acidic. Foods that are high in protein, well, a little acidic, right? But there's a gradient, there's a scale. The most acidic foods are animal products. The interesting thing about animal products is like they're prefab. All the proteins have already been made because an animal's body is made up of the final product of a protein, right? So when you eat protein from an animal, you're just eating muscle tissue, right? So those are proteins that have already been structured. It's the end product. Or like if you're eating animal products, you're eating vitamin A, it's preformed vitamin A. If you're eating animal products, you're eating heme iron, it's preformed iron, right? So that's why I say it's prefab. So you can get too much of the heme iron from eating animal products, and that has negative implications for your liver because that iron is very susceptible to oxidation, which can damage your liver or any other areas in your body, right? Where there's just high levels of heme iron, right? Whether it be high levels of serum iron or parked in your liver. Vitamin A, right? You can get vitaminosis. So people go a little too carried away with eating nasty stuff like liver. So you get way too much vitamin A to the point where you can actually look yellowish. You get weird skin discoloration, right? Yellowing of the eyes, yellow skin, all this type of weirdness, right? You can really jack your liver up with ODing with the vitamin A, right? And develop vitaminosis. And then the protein, you can eat all the protein you want. Your body's just gonna take that protein and break it back down into simpler amino acids. And then you just have this large abundance of amino acids that your body has to go and just start doing stuff with. You kind of create a bit of a traffic jam, right? You get this big influx of protein. Plant-based foods are a bit different because there's regulation. So you're not dumping a ton of pre-made anything into your body. You're getting, when you eat plant-based foods, you're getting nutrients in their simplest form. And then your body is taking those things in their simplest form and then making more complex structures and material. Right? And plant-based foods have you have your nutrients, you have your energy, and then you have your minerals and things like that, or simple amino acids that help to detoxify your body. Right? So there's that. So a plant-based diet provides you a lot of energy. If you eat a lot of animal products, it's not really much energy. It provides you a lot of building blocks. So you have like this animal product diet, you get your energy from adrenal output. That's where you get your energy from. So, you know, if you're eating something that's just high in fat and protein, your body can't really use that for energy. So your adrenal glands ramp up, right? So you get this massive adrenal uptick. And that, if you have high blood pressure or you're on the cusp of developing high blood pressure, that will run up your numbers. So people have high blood pressure and they eat like, you know, a lot of animal products, eggs or dairy or meat or whatever the case is, that adrenal activation really kicks up. And that leads to vascular constriction. It's a big shock, right? So when you get that initial adrenal uptick, you get this vascular constriction short term, and then your body responds and opens up as your nitric oxide levels increase. That's what's supposed to happen. However, if you're eating foods that are hydrophobic and create a dehydrated environment where you're eating a lot of animal products and things like that, and they act as a diuretic. So when you're eating these animal products, they kind of dry you out. So basically you get greasy and dehydrated on the inside. Okay, especially if it's like cooking with oil. Fat is, for the most part, is hydrophobic. You can't really hydrate fat, right? So when you saturate your blood with amino acids and fat or nitrogen and lipids, right, which are the simplest forms of those things, you get this dehydration. And if you're trying to avoid blood sugar spikes, Blood sugar spikes signal to your kidneys to retain electrolytes. But if you cut all your carbs and you try to keep your carbs low because you're trying to lose weight, thinking that's going to help with your blood pressure, you lose a lot of your electrolytes. And the more of your electrolytes you lose, the worse your blood pressure can get. So you get more vascular constriction. All right? So your adrenal glands ramp up in order to speed up the process of lipolysis, which is basically metabolizing fat and converting it into glucose. Your blood sugar increases, and what should happen is that when your adrenal glands go in an uptick, ramp up lipolysis, that lipolysis breaks down the fat into glucose, that glucose hits your bloodstream and goes to your cells. That's what's supposed to happen. However, if you're chronically dehydrated, your kidneys are strained, your body's stressed out, that impairs insulin sensitivity. So you go through the adrenal ramp up, the lipolysis, fat breaks down into glucose, dumps into your bloodstream, and you just end up having high blood sugar. So even though you barely eat carbs, you still have high blood sugar. You'd be surprised how prevalent this is. When people will come to me and be like, I don't understand, I cut my carbohydrates, I mostly eat like protein and fats and whatnot, my blood sugar is still real high and my blood pressure is high. And then I have to explain all of that to them, right? Your adrenal glands ramp up to give you that energy. It's a bit of an emergency situation. Your adrenal glands also, and when they uptick, when they increase output, that ramps up kidney function. So your kidneys are supposed to respond to the adrenal output to increase filtration, to clean your blood. However, this doesn't work so well if you're in a dehydrated state with low electrolytes. Right? So keep going back to that. Those electrolytes are alkalizing. And the reason why is because those electrolytes facilitate the intake of fresh, new energy to power your body. So going back to the acid and alkaline thing, I kind of feel like I did a real big circle with that. But just giving you the nuance, right? So your body has a pH balance, so you have alkaline or acid, acidity, and alkalinity, right? So think about like a carbon dioxide, acid, it's a waste product that you breathe out, right? And then the plants convert it back into oxygen. Alkalinity, the intake of fresh new oxygen to utilize to power your body, right? So anything that enters into your body and powers your body is alkalizing. However, when you're eating mostly like fats and proteins that go into your body, well, if they don't have those electrolytes, they don't really power your body. So your body senses food coming in and materials coming in to digest, but there's no glucose to use for energy. So your adrenal glands have to compensate for the lack of water and energy in your food and break down stored fat, convert that into energy so that you can have the available glucose to send to your cells. So you have people where they cut their carbs and they just get worse because of the dehydration and the lack of electrolytes that are needed in order to maintain that alkalinity. Now your body can maintain its alkalinity on its own. It has to, otherwise you're gonna die. And your body is working all day long to prevent you from dying. All day. Your body is just, your body's one and only task is keep you alive by any means necessary. It's the only thing your body wants to do. Just stay alive. Do whatever you gotta do, rearrange, raise this, lower that, do whatever you gotta do just to keep the body alive. That's the number one priority. Your body's really good at doing that. However, having your body do all of this work to maintain that pH balance under stress breeds illness over time. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's see here. Ooh, I can look directly in the pot. I got all this fog. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's right. We don't want to cook them too much. We just want to soften them up. So we got this whole pot of, ooh, I don't want to spill that. We got this whole pot of red lentils that actually look more yellow now. And they're gonna look even more yellow when I season them. This is my dinner too, by the way. I'm eating kind of late. But it's all good. It's all good, Joe. It's all good. Don't worry about it. All right. I'm just gonna put that in here. So yeah, you don't want to have your body doing you don't want to have your adrenal glands doing all this work to power your body. That's how you get adrenal fatigue. And this hits women the worst. All right, so when you're a woman, you have that really excessively elevated cortisol. So you get that cortisol belly, and this happens around like 40, 45 or so. And once you pass 45, you start getting into your 50s, you really see this thickening around here, right? That cortisol, that stress belly, and it suppresses your appetite. Because when your adrenal glands are just working, and you're insulin resistant. So basically, your adrenal glands are forcing your body to convert more stored fat into energy, right? Glucose, basically converting that fat into sugar. That sugar's just sitting in your bloodstream, and you're insulin resistant, so your cells are not taking it up. So you just end up being tired, stressed out, and restless because the adrenals is like really pumping. Cortisol super high, and then your blood sugar's high, and then your triglycerides are high, right? Even though you only eat like once or twice a day, right? So you could be like a woman who's 40, 45, 50, 55 years old, you eat once or twice a day and you still can't seem to lose the weight or the midsection, right? It's that constant adrenal work all the time. And the only way you shut it off is to get more electrolytes, more water, more glucose. And you get, not only do you get more of those things, you get them earlier, but the thing is, if you're trying to lose weight, you have this mental block. I don't want to increase food intake because then I'm gonna gain weight. It doesn't really work that way. The only way your body relaxes and those cortisol levels come down and that restlessness and anxiety goes away is when you increase glucose uptake, magnesium or glucose intake, magnesium intake, potassium intake, water, you get all those things in. You know, your antioxidants and whatnot, your carotenoids from the tea. So like, for example, you drink basil tea and your insulin sensitivity responds and increases because of the antioxidants in the tea that help to reduce stress. Right, so if you look at the benefits of basil tea and it's like, how does basil help to control or lower blood sugar? Well, it does that because it makes your cells more insulin sensitive because it brings down the stress, right? Ashwagandha. Why does ashwagandha give you more energy in the morning and it help you to relax and go to sleep at night? It brings down that adrenal function, it regulates it, right? So in the morning, it'll pick it up a little bit, but just enough. And then in the evening, it'll bring it down a little bit for you to calm down. But your insulin sensitivity is higher, so your body is able to take up glucose much more effectively. Why does ashwagandha increase testosterone in men with low testosterone? Well, because when you increase insulin sensitivity and you shuttle more glucose into your cells, you adequately power your body. And when your body has more energy to use, your body can increase testosterone synthesis as a result. When men have low testosterone, it's because they're insulin resistant, their blood pressure is real high, their appetite is suppressed, and so they're not really able to have a healthy energy balance to produce the necessary testosterone. And then they've been in that state for so long that it's destroying their sleep quality. And your testosterone levels mainly increase when you rest. All right? By the way, low testosterone can also destroy your vascular health, cause you to be even more insulin resistant and have high blood pressure, right? So then there's that as well. So that's why the alkaline diet thing is so important and why it's so effective with trying to reverse chronic illnesses. The problem is people don't really understand what an acidic food is and what an alkaline food is. So I just explained that, right? Alkaline foods are foods that are rich in water, energy, and the 5 alkalizing macro minerals, right? Potassium, calcium, magnesium, manganese, iron. All right. How long is this charge here? Yeah, all right. Let me get to seasoning this food, but first, let me do this here. I'm gonna check in with y'all on the comments rather than breaking my neck looking at the laptop. Take this on the go. Let's see. My blood pressure has always been good, and I try to maintain healthy lifestyle because both my parents have high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I try to get my parents to eat cleaner, but nope. About to make my parents basil tea ASAP. Yeah, when y'all want to show them this stream, so yeah. When I repost this, yeah, definitely you're gonna want to show them this stream. All right. By the way, folks, hit the like button, like the stream if you like the stream. All right. Let's season up this food. Where's my nooch? Where's my nooch? There we go. All right, so I'm seasoning this with nutritional yeast, garlic, sea salt, raw sugar, and parsley. I'm gonna add a little onion powder too, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. All right. So I'm going to put like 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast in here. So this creates like a cheesy flavor. I can't wait to. I'm eating late, y'all. Let me tell you something. I'm eating late. Lord. But it's all right. Oh, there it is. All right. Now I gotta do a teaspoon of sea salt. I think I may need to add a bit more salt to this though, but I'll do a teaspoon of sea salt. I'm not gonna go crazy. I put quite a bit of salt in my food. I don't skimp on salt in my food. People are like, oh, I don't use salt in my food. Salt is bad. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Look at that. Salt. We gotta talk about salt. Yeah, we do. We gotta talk about salt. Because you get people with high blood pressure and they're like, my doctor told me to reduce salt intake. You can cut your salt all you want. That ain't gonna lower your blood pressure because you don't have high blood pressure because you eat too much salt. You got high blood pressure because you ain't getting enough potassium in your diet. So if you have low potassium and you cut as much salt out of your diet as possible, well, now you just have low salt and low potassium and high blood pressure. Right? So you just end up creating a whole nother problem. Right? Or making one problem way worse. So the remedy, this is it, parsley. Look at that beautiful green parsley. I put a teaspoon of that. Parsley, by the way, is a good natural diuretic. So if you have edema, neuropathy, high blood pressure, and kidney issues, parsley. All right, parsley is a natural diuretic. So it helps to eliminate excess fluid while helping you to retain your electrolytes. All right, so we mix this around in here. Yeah, this kind of looks like mac and cheese a little bit in here. Oh, y'all don't understand how good this smells too. This smells insane. Oh my God, this smells good. So I'm gonna mix this up in here. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Can y'all see that? Let me try to hold that up a little bit. Yeah. So you got that mixed up in there. And you can eat this too. You can mix this up in here and mix it in real good. And then even add a little bit of water if you want it to be looser. You can put some leafy green vegetables in here and whatnot, and you can eat it just like this. You could, right? However, I am gonna make this into a sauce. This is gonna be my red lentil bouillon sauce, and then I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna pour it over some leafy green vegetables and tofu. All right. See, it's getting creamy as you mix it in. Because I'm bougie. I like to make it into a sauce. You don't have to, but I like to. But I'm gonna do a little taste test. I need a big spoon. I don't eat with little spoon, I need big spoon. I ain't got no more clean spoons, so I gotta clean my spoon. What else do I want to cover? I did blood sugar, kidney health, insulin resistance, liver health. What are some other things? Excess cortisol driving up your blood pressure. What else? Sleep deprivation, smell. Yeah, that tastes good. All right. That's good. All right, put this in the blender. Yeah, when I make this into a sauce, oh my God. Because it tastes good now, as it is. The lentils are a little chewy though. Which is, man, some people may like that, but I really want like a sauce. I love it when it's like a sauce. And can pour it over like all type of other vegetables and everything. We'll get a little bit more. Actually, I kind of like the texture of it. All right. But turn it into that warm, creamy soup. Oh, that's where it's at. That is where it is at. I almost kind of want to add a little bit more salt. Almost kinda. I don't think I'm going to, but I might. All right, so let's see. All right, 24-ounce mark. Yeah, I think that's good enough. And then, like last time, I'm gonna mute up when I turn the blender on, so I'm not blowing out nobody's ears. My lid broke up. I'm still hurt about that. So my blender is ghetto right now. All right. Oh, let me put my stuff back. Let me clean up my mess. All right. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Culturally, they're used to eating meat and oily food. Yeah. My dad was born in Tanzania, excuse me. And my mom in Nairobi. Although some meals have veggies, it's the overuse of oil that makes everything unhealthy. I hear you. Let me tell you, my Caribbean folks, my African folks, man, that with all that palm oil and stuff is nasty work. Alright, love the channel. Have you tried durian fruit? And what are your thoughts on it? Actually, I haven't tried durian fruit yet. There's a lot of like tropical fruits and whatnot that I haven't really had yet. So I don't really have strong feelings about durian. I'm gonna have to get a bit closer to the equator to be getting on all of that. All right, here we go. All right, folks, let me go ahead and mute up right quick while I run this blender. All right. Time to dip the spoon. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. It tastes like cheesy smashed potatoes. Yo, this is so good. Yo. If you had some cheesy smashed potatoes, that's what this tastes like. Oh, this is so good. It's been a while since I made this. This is so good. Oh my God. So the this right here, the 1 cup of red lentils, is like 40 grams of protein. It's like 40, what is it? A quarter cup is, yeah, so it's like 48 grams of protein, 46, 48, something like that. And then when you add the nutritional yeast, it's like, because the nutritional yeast, it's like 3 grams or 2 grams per serving, something like that. So this comes out to like 54, 55 grams of protein right here. And the 1 cup of red lentils is like 106 grams of carbs or something like that. It's either 106 or 120. I can't remember. I don't think it's 120. I think it's 106, but I could be wrong. Somewhere in between there. And then the fats are like really low. I think it's probably like 4 grams of fat or something like that. It's actually pretty low. But I'm gonna run this through the blender again, but I'm gonna add a little bit more water to it. Actually, you know what? Do I still have some warm water in this? Because I can actually add some of my tea water. There we go. Oh yeah. All right, so I gotta run it for round 2. And this could just be like a soup on its own. Powerful stuff. I mean, this red lentil bouillon is fire. All right. Round 2. Do you intermittent fast? I do in a way, like my alternate day fasting strategy. I do that. Let's see. Yeah, but I mean, intermittent fasting does have positive effects on blood pressure. It usually does. But like more aggressive forms of fasting, it could. It depends on what your other underlying conditions are. That's what I got to talk about. Gut health, bacteria. I touched on it a little bit earlier, and I didn't finish all the points I wanted to make about that. So I'm going to get into that in a second. I bet that sauce tastes delicious. True. Smashed potatoes. Love it. Can't wait. Yeah. So at that consistency that I had it before I added more water, it had like a smashed potatoes recipe kind of consistency to it. So when you add more water, it makes it soupy. It makes it more like a sauce, really. If I want to add more water after that, then it becomes like a soup. So you can gradually transform it. All right. It's still kind of thick. It's creamy. You know what? I'm gonna leave it like this. Well, let me see. Cause I like the thickness, and it's thick and smooth. It's thick and smooth. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna be slick. Hold on, I know what I'm gonna do. All right. So let's set that to the side. Where is... All right, hold on. Ah, there we go. So I gotta eat out of this. I'm gonna do... Well, actually, I probably should have prepped this earlier today. Because I don't know. I don't think I have more. I don't think. Oh yes, I do. There we go. All right, it's in the back. Got way too much stuff in this fridge. I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, by the way, I gotta mention this. Hold on. So I talk a lot about coconut yogurt. Cocoa. This stuff is actually pretty good. Good probiotic food. Let me talk about this for a little bit. So if you've got gut health issues, that can really, really wreck your blood pressure. So you can have gut dysbiosis. You have an imbalance of the bacteria in your gut, right? Where your bad bacteria outpopulates your good gut bacteria. Inside your gut microbiome, it's a zero-sum game, right? So you got, like, let's say red team, blue team, okay? Red team, that's the enemy, that's the bad bacteria. Blue team, those are the good guys, right? If you get a retraction, right, or a contraction, a shrinking of the blue team, you get an expansion, a growth of the red team, okay? And as you get that constriction in the population, or the contraction of the population of the blue team, the red team expands and takes over your gut. So you have to populate and increase the population, the proliferation of the blue team, in order to create a contraction in the red team. And then you can get that bad bacteria under control and get them out of here and expand your good gut bacteria. You'll often have, you have like some bad bacteria in your gut, but it shouldn't be to a significant degree where it's causing you issues, right? But as you have a diet and lifestyle, herbs and all of this type of stuff that improves your overall well-being, this translates into better gut health. So that's the whole gut dysbiosis thing's part of it. You can take a probiotic supplement, like for example, before a meal, right? And you can take a good probiotic is one that has like around 60 billion CFUs. CFU stands for a colony forming unit, right? And like 12 different strains, like 10 or 12 different strains. So like when you look out for a probiotic, you're looking for a good one. Those are some numbers to look out for. 60 billion CFU, 10 to 12 different strains, all right? So there's that. Then you've got coconut yogurt, and this is, how many ounces is this? So this one thing is a cup. So like 8 ounces. So for me, this would be like a serving, right? Fire right here. This is like a probiotic supplement, right? This coconut yogurt, basically fermented yogurt or fermented coconut made into a yogurt. Phenomenal probiotic food. All right. So to improve your gut health, for example, you can have like a coconut smoothie berry bowl. So you do coconut yogurt, and then you add in, like, let's say 4 to 6 ounces of blueberries, 4 to 6 ounces of raspberries, 4 to 6 ounces of blackberries, and then you can add in like hemp seeds and cinnamon, right? If you want to make like a chocolatey flavor, you can add cacao, right? You can add a little sea salt, like a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Don't go crazy with the sea salt. Don't do that. And then you mix it in, right? And you can make like a smoothie bowl, and then you can top it with strawberries. So you can just slice strawberries on top of that berry bowl. Phenomenal for your gut health. All right. So this is cocoa. All right. Billions of probiotics. At least that's what it says on the label, right? It better be. So this one's unopened. Okay. Do I have any more? Oh. I'll show y'all one more thing. One more thing. Well, actually, 2 more things. Pickles, fermented cucumber, good probiotic food. You get it from the refrigerated aisle, okay? Fermented plant-based foods are good are natural probiotic foods. So you can get pickles. All right, make sure you get it from the refrigerated aisle. This right here, phenomenal for your gut health. And so you can have about like 8 ounces or so a day. You put it straight in the cup and just eat it as is. Not only can you do pickles, you can also do kimchi, or you can do sauerkraut. Those are also probiotic foods as well, with prebiotic fiber as well. And I'll get into the whole prebiotic fiber thing as well. And then last but not least, miso. This is miso paste. So basically you can heat up some water, wait for it to cool down, and then add a tablespoon of miso in, and you can do sliced leeks and different vegetables and things like that and have a soup. Okay? That's also, this is a probiotic food as well. Okay? So miso, made from fermented soybeans. All right, so you can do a soup. All right? Good probiotic foods. And then your leafy greens, your onions, your peppers, leeks, things like this. Jerusalem artichoke, right? And this type of stuff, kale. Good prebiotic fiber. Wait, do I want to do all of these? Yeah, I do. I want to do the whole thing. And prebiotic fiber feeds the probiotic bacteria, right? The good microbes. Team blue. Blue, blue, blue. All right? Okay, there it is. I gotta cut some things, y'all. Now, the reason why that's important is because going back to the gut health issues, people tend to have, with their gut, they tend to have 2 issues. Number 1, too much bad bacteria in the gut. And that bad bacteria in the gut, your lower gut, that moves up. Next thing you know, it's in your stomach, and then that leaves you susceptible to SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Right? That's before your stomach, but you know, it goes from there and then into your stomach, and then into your mouth. Nasty work. Straight nastiness, right? So you get that bad bacteria, travels from the low gut, goes up, the next thing you know, it's in your mouth. And then it can get in your mouth and rot your teeth. Right? So people end up having tooth issues because of bad gut health, okay? You can literally improve your oral health by improving your gut microbiome, your gut health. But in reference to our conversation today, we're talking about blood pressure. So improving your gut microbiome fix your blood pressure. So remember I talked about acid. So acid accumulation, waste products, right? This is about 4 ounces. This is like 3 to 4 ounces of tofu, by the way. So now all of this together, I think it's like 6. Or maybe the whole thing is 4, I don't know. Yeah, this is actually 4, it's not 6. So, as far as acidity is concerned, the bad bacteria produces acid waste products. You got bad bacteria pooping in your body. They're living in your gut, infesting your body, and pooping all over the place. And it's creating an acidic environment. And that acidic environment is inflammatory. And as a result of it being inflammatory, it is raising your blood pressure, because your body raises blood pressure as an inflammatory response. Because your body wants to create more pressure in order to get more oxygen to your cells and clear more waste and acid out of your blood. That's one of the primary reasons why your blood pressure increases, is to expedite the process of getting glucose and oxygen and nutrients into your cells to protect your cells and keep them alive and protect them from oxidative stress, and then to kick out, to flush out waste products from your blood. And that's why your blood pressure goes up. Your blood pressure is supposed to go up. It's a protective mechanism. So when you take blood pressure medication and you drive down your blood pressure, you're working against your body, inhibiting its ability to do the protective thing that it's supposed to do. So that's why I stress, if you want to lower your blood pressure naturally, you have to address the underlying conditions that's jacking up your blood pressure. So you have the bacteria raising acid, and that acid is toxic and it destroys your cells over time, right? That acid, those waste products, create oxidative stress if they're not cleared from your body. That's why it's important, if you have like a gut issue, it's a good idea to eat foods, right? Because you need the fiber in order to move through your digestive tract, particularly insoluble fiber, which is fiber that doesn't dissolve in water. And it moves through your digestive tract and it binds to toxins, heavy metals, even bad bacteria, and it binds to them, pulls them out of your gut. So you can use food to flush out waste products and bad bacteria, right? And empty your colon. So fasting, people say, well, I got bad bacteria thing going on, so I'm trying to fast to get away, to fix the problem. That may work, but it may not work because you don't have anything that's helping to flush them out. You can use herbs to kill bad bacteria like that basil or ginger or cinnamon or turmeric or cayenne pepper, these types of things that are antibacterial. You can kill bad bacteria that way. But the waste products and things like that, well, in order to optimally clear that out, it's a good idea to pair those herbs and things with food. So fasting works, but the thing is that if you're already underweight because you're losing the battle with your gut health, therefore you've lost too much weight, you can't really afford to do more fasting. So when fasting is not an option, well, then you got the only other option left is to eat. So you gotta have a gut-friendly diet and then pair that with the herbs and things like that. Now, in addition to the gut bacteria issue, you've got actual damage to the intestines. In your gut, you have a thing. It's a layer, it's a very thin layer. It's like a one-cell layer. It's very, very thin layer, okay? It's the endothelium of your gut. So in your gut, you have a gut-blood barrier. And this gut-blood barrier exists inside the vascular tissues that line your gut. And it regulates the flow of things from your gut, from your intestines, into your bloodstream. Right? If you got some nasty bacterial issues, you can be very prone to infections because bad bacteria can actually pass through the gut-blood barrier and make it into your blood. You can actually get bad bacteria in your blood. That will, a lot of times, raise your blood pressure and cause infections and high blood sugar and all this type of stuff. It's a massive, really serious infection. So when people are prone to getting infections and sicknesses all the time, a lot of the times because of some type of hyperpermeable gut situation where they have bad bacteria or waste products that are emptying into their bloodstream by making it through their gut. And that can oftentimes contribute to high blood pressure. And you can feel like stomach pain, frequent cramping, maybe even burning, sharpness, like sharp pains in your stomach, like, oh, it hurts when I eat, right? And it can be like that kind of thing. And so when you eat, your blood pressure goes up, your blood sugar goes up. It's just nastiness. It feels terrible, right? That's you got holes. You got damage to that gut-blood barrier, right? Your intestinal endothelium. A lot of times when people have an issue like that, they tend to have a magnesium deficiency and a vitamin D3 deficiency. So you may want to supplement with some form of magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate. You may want to supplement with vitamin D3. okay? In addition to that, you may want to supplement with small amounts of glutamine. So you may want to start with 5 grams a day of glutamine, and then in a week you up it to 10, and then in a week or two from that, you go up it to 15. You can gradually step up to glutamine. Glutamine and vitamin D3 work together to repair your gut lining. So you get your herbs, they kill bad bacteria. You get your food that provides you the nutrients and provide the fiber to bind to toxins and pull them out of your gut through your colon. And then you've got your glutamine, you've got your magnesium to reduce inflammation, and the glutamine and the vitamin D3. The vitamin D3 creates stem cells, right? Vitamin D creates like these stem cells that can be converted into other cells, like the cells that you need to repair your gut lining. So the stem cells combined with the glutamine will then repair your gut lining, right? So herbs, whole food, plant-based diet, predominantly raw, mostly fruits. You don't want to go too heavy with the insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is good, but too much, it creates pain. It's too much friction, right? Especially if you got some nastiness like some diverticulitis, right? Where you got inflamed diverticula lining your gut. So it's a bit of a delicate situation. So the leafy greens are beneficial, but don't overdo it with the leafy greens because you can do too much. So tender leafy greens, if you have a sensitive gut, right? So watery, tender leafy greens, right? If you're gonna do kale, chop them and massage them, literally massage, right, the kale, okay? But things like romaine lettuce, watercress, arugula, things like that, it's a bit on the lighter side. Those are easier on the gut. Things with a lot of fiber, so you may not want to eat like flax seeds or hemp seeds with the shell. That's a bit too much. Brown rice may be a bit aggravating because of the husk or the hull, right? Can be a bit much. So with foods like this, basmati rice is actually really good for a sensitive gut because it doesn't have a lot of insoluble fiber, so it goes down easy. But generally speaking, if you have more of a hydrating diet, it's definitely easier on your gut. One of the best gut health fruits that eases that and improves digestion, grapes. That's like a go-to for me. Grapes are phenomenal for this issue. My food getting cold, hold on. All right. So we got the, oh, no, I didn't want to do that. I said I wasn't gonna keep y'all too long and I'm already going, you see? I'm already doing too much, I'm going too long. All right. I'm almost done. All right. Let me get y'all involved here in the chat. Which one should I do? Purple, green? Put it in the chat. Let me know what y'all want me to do. Massage kale to a piece of liquid? No, you just break up the cell walls. You don't gotta OD with them. Green for heart, okay. All right, so we got 2 for green. Okay, green it is. Green is winning. I'm gonna have to eat my purple one off camera with y'all. Fair enough. Let me weigh this right quick too, because I'm gonna show y'all something. Because you don't really need a whole lot of leafy greens. Right? Sometimes people get a little too crazy with the leafy green vegetables. Right? It's like, look, they could be beneficial, but you don't need to eat like 2 pounds of leafy greens a day. It's a bit much. So this is 4 ounces. All right? Generally speaking, in a day, I say anywhere from 4 to 7 ounces of leafy greens is good enough. If I'm minor in the green leafy vegetables, it's because I had a lot of fruit. If I didn't eat a lot of fruit, I'd have more along the lines of like 7 ounces of leafy green vegetables. So it depends. It's a bit circumstantial. I do like cutting greens though. I like that. Look at that. It's beautiful. I'm gonna add something else to this too. I'm gonna add an ounce of sunflower seed kernels for that extra vitamin E. Extra vitamin E and extra selenium. So this is kind of like a salad, and then I'm just topping it with the red lentil bouillon. I could put cucumbers and whatnot in here too, but yeah, it's basically just like a salad in there. This is actually a very high protein meal too, because it's got the tofu, the sunflower seed kernels, and then the cup of lentils. So it's a lot. I'm distracted. I went and left the lid off. But it's all right. I don't really obsess over my food being warm because I'm used to eating cold food because of, I mostly eat raw. So like this is the one time today where I'm eating something cooked. So I'm raw all day. And then I have something cooked in the evening, sometimes, not every night. So for example, last night I didn't eat anything cooked. Yesterday was a fully raw day. So I cook on stream. That's exciting. It's a bit exciting and fun, but I don't eat that much cooked food. Not because I have anything against eating cooked food. I just don't do it that much. My days are actually really busy too, so I don't have like time to cook and whatnot sometimes. My days get away from me sometimes. See, this kind of thickened up because it's been sitting. So we're gonna see. This looks like mashed potatoes too. I like calling it smashed potatoes, but most people call it mashed potatoes. I like the way that S is in this. Smashed potatoes. Sounds aggressive. And I like my potatoes smashed. Or just a whole potato baked with the skin. That's good too. Oh yeah, that's right. Put it in the chat what some of y'all ate tonight. I'm kind of curious to know what y'all been eating. What y'all been eating today. I want to hear from y'all. What y'all be eating. I feel like Bob Ross a little bit. Bob Ross, he would do like what I'm doing except painting, whereas I'm just like cooking. He'll just be on camera, just doing what he would be doing if he wasn't on camera. I was amazed by Bob Ross growing up as a kid. It would be a calm, chill vibe. That might be one of my inspirations for what I do today. Like these streams are like some of my favorite streams. The Monday Night Raw. I'm just in here just doing my thing in my natural environment. All right, so yeah, you see this? I got it on top. And then what I can do, so this is a little bit warm. So to loosen it up a little bit, I'll do that. And then mix it in. Like a dressing. So you see that? Yeah. Mix all of that in there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You need a spoon? Oh. That hit the, that's good. It's good you eat for nutrition, not for taste. I mean, I eat for both. Like, I don't eat foods that's not tasty. You know? So like, I'll eat for health, but you know, I'm a season it up and whatnot, make it taste good. With fruit, you don't really have to do anything to it for it to taste good. It just naturally does. I ate a brownie cookie chocolate, granola bars, and I had to pray to my ancestors for help. I was so bloated, man. Oh, man. A brownie cookie chocolate granola bar. Oh, how many of them you ate? You had multiple bars as in plural. Man, you know, that was thick. That brownie cookie chocolate granola, that thing was just a hard mass of sediment and clay, just sliding down and just bow, hit the stomach and just sink right to the bottom. You're like, oh God, right? That's what you do when you eat it. You feel it going down and you feel it hit your stomach and it feels like a brick in your stomach, and then it blows up, bah, in your stomach, right? And you feel it, bah, and it expands, and you're like, oh God. You got all this air in your body, all this gas in your gut, and then it comes out the backside. Right? It's either that or it's just blah, and just one of them farts that just come out blah, 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 blah. Man, I tell you, I know. Lord. I'm juice feasting. I only had pineapple and ginger juice today. Pineapple and ginger, yeah, you detox it for sure. Will you have grape juice? You have grape juice when you finish? I got you. There you go. I had some steamed bok choy, broccoli, carrots, bell pepper, and mushrooms with tofu over brown rice with a little rice, wine, vinegar, and Bragg's liquid aminos. Okay, that sounds like fire. That sounds all right. There you go. I see you. Had grapes, half a pineapple, whole cucumber, 3 bananas, morning overnight oats, mashed sweet potatoes, and mashed chickpeas with crushed almonds, cumin, chili flakes, black pepper, salt, turmeric, and an apple. Y'all be getting elaborate up in here. Like, I'm telling y'all, you see, y'all are foodies up in here. There you go. Mm-hmm. What to do to keep blood pressure from being too low? Well, at least keep the top number over 90 and the bottom over 60. One thing that might really work for you is just adding more salt to your diet. That's usually one right there. One of the things is that when your sodium is too low, that can cause your blood pressure to drop too low. That's often the case with a lot of people. Also, your blood pressure can drop too low because you may have venal insufficiency. So you may have an actual leak in your vascular system. So there's that also. What did I eat today? I had bananas. I had like a pound of bananas in a protein smoothie. One of these streams I got to do my protein smoothie, show y'all what I put in there. But it was naked pea protein, powdered peanuts, whole hemp seeds, sea salt, raw sugar cane, glutamine. What else did I put in there? Ceylon, no, I put matcha in there. I put a teaspoon of matcha in there. Magnesium malate. What else did I put? Oh, I didn't even put raw sugar. I put liquid stevia. And I think that's what I put. And then after that, it was pounded grapes. And then now this meal. Yep, not the fart sounds, I'm telling you. Farts, I always found farts hilarious. I'm like kind of childish like that. Yeah, do the protein smoothie video. I'm probably gonna do a short with my protein smoothie. I love that protein smoothie, I love it. Oh my God. I do like different variations. I have a cacao one, a matcha one, and a cinnamon one. A huge salad with oyster mushrooms. I stopped eating refined carbs. What are your thoughts of a decision to let go of all starches? Starchy foods can be beneficial, right? I don't know about getting rid of all starches, right? It can be a minimal or marginal portion of your diet. But like, for example, even bananas, they contain like some starch to a degree, right? Are starchy foods essential? No, it's not necessary, but could be beneficial, right? So it depends on what your reasoning is why you want to cut the starches out. Which salt do you recommend and how much per day? Either sea salt, pink Himalayan salt, or Celtic salt. You can do like 1 or 2 teaspoons a day, total for the day. And ate nothing today, fasting gets you right? True. Noticing the volume in carbohydrates, mostly water carbs, been really helping with my current muscle size and contractions versus excessive amounts of protein and calories. True, your advice has been game changing. I'm telling you. I've been trying to tell people want to go back and forth with me. Oh, but you need protein. I didn't say you didn't need protein. I never said that. But if you're trying to build muscle mass, if you're trying to grow muscle mass, increasing carbohydrate consumption is the thing that's gonna get you that size. Oh. Yeah. I did a video about that. Let me tell you something. I go high carb. I ain't never going back. How many bananas is too many in one day? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. How many bananas can be too many? It depends on what the rest of your diet looks like, right? So, and it depends, like, it's going to be different for each person. I think the more bananas you eat, the less of something else you'd be eating, right? So, when I create diet plans for people, 1 or 2 pounds is good enough, right? And then, you know, you diversify later down the line. So if you think about it, like 2 pounds of bananas, that's like 200 something grams of carbs, right? If you're gonna have other fruits and whatnot later on in the day, then save it for that, right? So you could do a few pounds of other fruits, right? So I wouldn't go all in on bananas. But as far as if I was to give you like a total amount of how many bananas in general, it's just too many bananas straight across the board. I don't know if I could really give you like a number that's just not completely arbitrary and made up at that point. You eat 15 bananas mostly. So you put 15 bananas in a smoothie. So typically 4 bananas is like 1 pound. So you're basically doing like around, what? 4, 8, 12, 16. So you're like doing 4 pounds of bananas a day, right? Yeah. So almost like you're doing like around 4 pounds of bananas a day. So if you're doing a smoothie and you do 15 bananas in one smoothie, so you're getting like in that one smoothie, you're getting around like 400 grams of carbs in that one smoothie. Let me tell you something. You are an absolute powerhouse, because if you put in that much in one smoothie, you burn a lot of calories. You are a furnace. So I know your metabolism is supercharged. After being raw vegan for 2 years, body became too sensitive to handle lots of starch and heavy foods. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, if it don't feel right, you know, trust your gut, trust your body, trust your gut, literally. All right. It's time to shut it down. I'm gonna eat and go. Well, I haven't even taken a shower yet. So I'm gonna finish eating this and then take a shower and then go to bed. Appreciate everybody for tuning into the Monday Night Raw. Final announcements. Like the stream if you like the stream. Share this with anybody who you think would benefit from watching it. If you want to book a call with me, hit the link in the description of this video to book a call with me. There's also a link in the description to join my 12-week mentorship. That's where I do my personal coaching and work with people one-on-one. And also, for supplementation of what supplements that I would use or recommend. Bulk food. So for example, I buy red lentils like this in bulk, basmati rice in bulk, kasha in bulk. What else in bulk? Rolled oats in bulk. My herbs. So like that basil, the parsley, I buy that in bulk. So that's up in my tribe shop. So links in the description box below, and I will catch y'all on the next Monday Night Raw live stream. Take care.